The dope background, huh?
Is you live?
If you live!
Daisy!
Daisy, where are you? Daisy dog, tell everybody you're here.
Is you live?
Daisy, is you live? Daisy, is you live? Who's live?
Little retarded thing.
Say, I go hard in the paint.
She go to sleep.
I ain't no sucker.
She all the way a sucker.
I ain't no flip-flopper.
Mother trucker.
I stand for mine every day. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Daisy, go get your kibbles and bits.
Man, Daisy's about that life, if you don't know.
Daisy about that sleeper's life.
Daisy about that life. Daisy,
I was on top of the bed.
I'm about that life. I'm about that life. Yeah, y'all were both snoring.
Don't tell my business.
Man.
My hair.
Y'all need to get y'all business together.
We was tired.
Y'all sleepy?
Y'all, you be making me work and Daisy work.
Man. We need to introduce ourselves.
I am April.
Man, if you don't get crunk in here,
Hush your mouth.
if y'all don't give me some bombs up in here, can I get like 550 likes? Can we get this party started? Can we do this? Can we do this for my culture?
He all crunk now.
Man, I'm crunk every day.
He wasn't crunk a little while ago.
Man, I was crunk. I was here doing my thing. Y'all was here.
I was trying to get you to watch some interesting videos.
Tony Robbins is not interesting.
You guys don't speak on Tony Robbins. I be trying to educate Mr. Brando. That was what he was doing too. I want to see this. Win. Little baby.
That was Tony Robinson. And you.
No, I was.
And then I came back with the.
Give me this. Hurt your mouth. This was you.
Yeah. Watching your show, I was like, it'll be good.
No, that was you in the bathroom.
This is terrible.
Come on with the news. Come on with it.
Well, first of all, I think the most impelling news of the day is Iran lopped their currency today. And this is what everybody wanted to know. Iran lopped their currency. The significance to you and I is this, that if Iran gave its people purchasing power by 4 numbers, what do you think the value of the Iraqi dinar will be not under sanctions and abiding by the IMF and having no MCP? What you got to understand is that everything happens for a reason. And I told you that big figure people were going to get arrested. I told you that sanctions were going to come. And I'm not trying to tell you that I had this forethought, right? Like I'm the most knowledgeable guy in the game. That's not true. Somebody else told me this was going to happen. And all I did was tell it to you. You see what I'm saying? So I was a steward of good information. So when I found out that I knew Maliki was going to get under sanctions, I told you big agencies were going to come after him. His son was already arrested. I didn't know about Al-Fayad. No one ever said that, but that's another big name right in the game. And then I knew that the central bank governor could be replaced. I knew that the Minister of Education was in place. I told you these things not because I knew them in myself, in my inherent soul. I knew them because somebody else told me. That is in Iraq. That is actually there. And that actually tells me information I need to know when I ask, sometimes on time. The idea is this. It's not about being who calls the reinstatement. I'm going to say this one more time. I'm not the soothsayer of the numbers, okay? I'm not a witch. I don't do those things. I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to be the first one to guess it. Can I tell you that? But I'll be the most accurate along the journey that's going to guide you. And those people that I'm guiding and that are in Patreon, they're learning tons every day. We had a great talk about mental tax, physical tax, and economic tax, as well as what is a STC.
ST in the C?
ST in the C. ST in the D. Yeah, STC. It's the
STC?
STC. It's what the foundation is going to be run off of. Either in country or out of country. But that doesn't really matter. The idea is that what are you doing today to prepare yourself for the future? If anything. And if you're not prepared, what are you doing to try to get prepared? And the next question would be, if you're not in a position to be prepared, then what are you going to do to start preparing today? If you don't know, I say get ready. The Kurds proposed to form an importive authority. This is distributing the legislation of oil and gas law. This is a big deal because the Kurds are basically coming to the table and saying the reason for not enacting the law is existence of different interpretations of the law of 111 and 112 of the Constitution, which talk about the ownership of oil and gas and the distribution of powers to manage fields of oil. This is why it's so important that when you have Article 140, that you understand that Article 140 really makes it very clear about the oil and gas law and who gets what and who gets where. So one can't go without the other. But I still really believe in my heart of hearts that once you establish Article 140, right after that, that's post reinstatement numbers, you're going to get those oil and gas law numbers. Now, the reason why is because each citizen at that point is going to get monies based upon a family, single, married, blah, 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 for how many kids, blah, blah. So the oil and gas pays generationally. 140 plays one time, like a reparation. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. A lot of people get those two things, confused. Now, Iran changes its currency, didn't say reinstate, didn't say revalue, didn't say some crazy thing. It says Iran changes its currency. That's a lot, okay? From the real to the tuman, that's a lot, and removes 4 zeros from it. So I think Mr. Frazier and I were talking today. He figured out that the tuman actually against the dollar is about basically worth 25 cents here or there. The crow flies at that time that he told me. And based upon some numbers that we have, we're bouncing some ideas off each other. But you got to understand that it's not the big deal that they lop their currency. Anybody can lop their currency. That's not the big deal. The big deal is that they're trying to enable their citizens to have purchasing power before Iraq does. Now, why? You got to ask yourself why. Remember, you guys thinking that Iran is holding up the reinstatement. Iran is not holding up the reinstatement. What Iran is doing is probably telling Iraq every day, reinstate your currency, reinstate your currency, reinstate your currency, reinstate your currency so that we can come to the negotiation table and free our people. Because once Iran goes to the negotiating table, trust me, you don't think all the dinars that they hold in their central bank and through their trade is not going to go to venomously fuel the crap that they were in before? That's the plight that's going to bring everybody down. Now, between the time that the actual numbers reinstated and actually till that happens, I don't know. But by then, I hope all of you have exchanged, got your money out of it, ran to higher ground, and believe this and believe me, you are not involved in anything that has anything to do with Iran. And if you are, that's cool. But I'm just telling you, for that short period of time that Iran will reinstate their currency, it will probably lop one more time. It has to. I told you guys that judiciary was going to come after a bunch of high-ranking delegations, people. They are right now. There was an order out there right now to lift the immunity of some deputies. There was approximately about 21 of them. Now, I was really hoping that one of those will be Maliki. I think it is, and I think you guys got to understand that when I talked to him, the other day, I asked him, how does Maliki feel about the sanctions that were lifted against him by the United States? He said he didn't care. It was unimportant to him. Maliki is so bold that he's not afraid of U.S. sanctions. And I believe that's because I think he was number one on the list of people that came out there down the list of Iraqi politicians that have the most money. But what Maliki failed to do was he sent majority of his wealth outside of the country into Europe. That money's now been frozen. So he has no power. Iran's rial just got cut to the Toman. If you're an Iraqi doing business in Iran, would you want the Toman? No, you wouldn't want the Toman. It's not established. It's got no track record. You're going to want to deal in dinar. So everybody that's fearful of Iran and what Iran's doing, don't be fearful of it. Look at the example that they're setting the Iraqi people, telling them what to do. Iraq is time to crap or get off the pot. You've got these people in a noose. You need to reinstate your currency because that donor conference money's right at your taste buds. You can actually get your hands on it, but you got to have free-flowing economy. And with the free flow, it's going to bring on the private sector. It's going to manage the inflation because there's no hyperinflation in Iraq. The 3-0 notes are obsolete. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about the reinstatement is those 3-0 notes are really not relevant to what's happening right now in present day Iraq. Those notes were really relevant about 10 years ago when they had hyperinflation, when they had problems. They don't have those things. They have less inflation right now than the United States does. They just don't have the same employment. Now, if they could get their employment to match their inflation, oh my God. You talk about a GDP of probably 9 plus, 10 plus, they're going to be ahead of the game. And that's why you and I and the people who are listening to this podcast are actually involved in this investment because of those aspects of what's going on. Not because of something superficial or not because of something topic or trending, but because you can actually tangibly put your hands on it and prove it, okay? Deputies do not rule out malicious claims and requests to lift the immunity of deputies. So the deputies also have a rebuttal to the whole thing about they're going to lift it. You deputies now will not have immunity. I think that's very important I want to say in a post-corruption system, because what it allows everybody to understand and to do is this. Hey, look, if you're corrupt, you're going to jail. So if you did things that were bad and you're still holding office, you're going to jail. It's the same thing that we want to do to our own Congress and Senate and things like that. We want to hold them accountable for the actions that they do. How is it that a junior congressman from somewhere like Colloquial, Oklahoma can go into the Senate and do a 10-year career and walk out, when he was worth maybe $40,000, come out, he's worth $40.4 billion. You can't tell me that there's not corruption in every government, especially the one that you and I are so gracious and so happy to sit in. Tear down is the very system you want to master. And before you tear it down, you want to put the allocation of your funds into somewhere that it's viable for you. And that's what people don't understand when they tell me, we want to tear the system down. We want to break it. Okay, well, you want to break the very system you're trying to get rich in? How smart is that? What's your thinking? And if so, if they currency, what are you going to do? And that's when I go back to Patreon. A lot of people are going to tell me, well, you're on Patreon. Yeah, because we talk freely about business ideas and a what if. And we also instill the fact that you're already rich. They're not going to lop your currency. But you got to understand, what are you going to do with your currency once you have it? Once you're finally rich and once you're finally off that island of debt, what are you going to do to preserve your wealth? Not keep it, because you're going to spend the principal. What are you going to do to preserve it?
I got some really good ideas from Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins is awesome.
Okay. Today, an article came out about the CIA and the FBI that drew their conclusions about people to put underneath the sanctions. And what you got to understand is that U.S. Treasury heads all that up, and U.S. sanctions freeze any property assets in the United States or individuals and entities involved, and deny them access to international financial systems. So you got to understand that. So, like, let's say I'm Maliki and I now want to leave Iraq and go enjoy all my millions in Europe. I can't because my money's been cut off from me based upon a social or some type of identification number. Now, you're going to probably say, well, he could probably hack that. Well, probably not. If you can cut a whole country off from being able to receive any funds that they're entitled to, what do you think you can do to an individual? So I give you guys, again, I told you something was going to happen to Maliki. Now it's happening. Now they're sanctioning him. Now they're going to lift his immunity, and then they're probably going to pick him up. So what will be the excuse after that? What was the guy? The terrorist guy, al-Bazadi or whatever his name is. He's surfacing again, saying that he's in northern Syria or southern Iraq. I don't know. But the idea there is that you see all these boogie people that are supposed to come out right before you're supposed to see a reinstatement, but that's smoke and mirrors for what's really going on. What's really going on is Al-Alawi is going over the books as we speak and probably getting ready to take center stage into being the central bank governor of Iraq. What you're seeing is Al-Fayyad, who is the interior minister, but not interior minister, but the security minister of Iraq, under scrutiny because of what he's done. Nouri al-Maliki, the same thing, his son under arrest. You're seeing mass corruption being swept off the streets, and still they talk daily about Kuwait and free trade zones and rebuilding Iraq and doing all these things to get them on the front stage of the order of what's going on today. So you ask me, what is the one thing that is standing between you and realizing your blessing? Time. Time. You have to, this is the most diligent part of your quest, because before you were waiting in just limbo, now you're waiting for events. I've told you guys time and time again that benchmarks have to be set. And once those things are set, things will be set in motion. And those benchmarks are in motion, but they're not completely done.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, please ask some questions.
So, okay. So Reza says, Iran already deleted 4 zeros. When will Iraq? But do we want them to do what yeah,
you don't want, Iraq's not going to delete 4 zeros and lock their currency.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
But my thing is, I think people are misunderstanding.
They want to implement the project to delete the 3 zeros, which is officially them accepting Article 8. I know that.
Right. But no, I'm just trying to tell you, I think they're misunderstanding, because
that's
why I'm saying Iran.
Okay.
Hold on. Iran locked. We don't want the same for Iraq.
It's not. They're not. Iraq is not going to lock their currency. Iran had to lock their currency to lock that off because they had to create a false sense of purchasing power. That will crumble. They will go back into hyperinflation over a period of time. What they're hoping and what Iran is praying is that by the time they can convince Iraq to reinstate their currency because of trade, having all these different things, they're going to promote peace, that they're hoping that Iraq will feel a false sense of security. So they'll reinstate their currency. They'll go to the board and say, hey, they'll go to the United States and say, look, we're not going to have any more nuclear program. Boom. Then that's going to come back in. You're going to have about 6 or 7 years of that. And then boom, by probably the 7th or 8th year, Iran will probably be on the verge of a nuclear war with China and with Russia and whoever else.
Yeah, because I think, the reason why I wanted more little clarification, because see, if you read here, this person saying Iran already deleted when war Iraq, right?
I saw that.
Look down here, Hope Real goes 3-1.
Why? The Real's not going 3-1. The Toman already went deletion of the 4 zeros. Understand, guys, the difference between a lop and a reinstatement. Iran didn't reinstate their currency; they locked it.
Right.
That's the very thing your fear should be for the Dong. The Dongs already locked their currency twice. So I get your dark horses, the Dong. The Dong's a way smarter player than the Zim. The Zim is dead. The next thing you're going to see Venezuela lock their currency. I already told you this.
But I thought
the Bolivar is going to go away. We're going to buy in on the first wave after the hyperinflation takes back effect when their currency doesn't hold any value. That's what I come here to teach people. How to buy currencies undervalued and watch them grow. That's why you sit here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Does Parliament need to vote Alawi before they go on vacation?
Halabusi just has to accept him as being the central bank governor. It's all over. And I'm already venturing to guessing because of the way he's talking to Kuwait that he's already basically blessed him and Alawi's already in position. He just hasn't taken control of the position yet officially. And I think he's actually been looking over the books for months based upon things that I've seen happen, especially now that I know that the United Nations lifted the sanctions off of them that were not economic, but agricultural, which I think was like a pork belly way of saying that they were suppressing them because of some economic reason. Then the last reason you found out is because Jordan just came out in the IMF report and said even Jordan lifted the sanctions was the last thing they needed to do before they could, really go back to Article 8, Section 2. So think of Article 8, Section 2 as them saying, look, the training wheels are off, boys. All you got to do is go forth, reinstate your currency. Now, do you guys see how easy it is now that you see Iran do what they did? Mm-hmm. All Iraq has to do the same thing. That's all you're truly waiting for. There's no magic pills. There's no
My name is Len Dueck.
Stuff that's like so hard to understand or no, you know what I mean? It's very, very simple. Waiting on Iran. Iran to do what? Thursday, tomorrow is probably one of the most anticipated days in the dinar community in a long time. It's the last day that they're going to be seated as far as them being able to get anything done before they go in front of a holiday. And so tomorrow is going to be a very big deal as far as just what do they get tidied up. Now, I'm not saying that the Ministry of Education is going to be in place, but I'm saying that it would be really neat to see them say, well, special grades are passed, we're done, we're on holiday. Once those special grades are passed, then August would be a really cool month because then what is Alawi's next move going to be? I've always said that you can tell what the central bank's going to do by whatever the governor does. And since the governor was always about doing little things in vanity, Alawi's going to have to come in and put his stamp on things. And I really believe one of the first things that Alawi's going to do is he's going to release the lower denominations and he's going to enact the HCL, which is going to basically put us in the position that we need to be in. And to fuel that fund, they're going to go ahead and have international access. So the ISX will fuel the business. They'll use the dinar by the large institutions as a derivative for these large institutions such as China, Germany, and that will fund the Silk Road, the One Belt, One Road, and you'll see the development of the whole European nation, connect from one shore to the next, and based upon the Iraqi dinar. And that's not far-fetched. I don't look at Breitling, y'all. I try not to listen to anybody, especially before I go on the air, because I don't want any of my opinions to cross over with any of theirs. Mm-hmm. If they do, it's all just by coincidence, but cool. I don't want them. I don't want my beliefs and their beliefs to run together.
Somebody said Governor CBI, no vote or vote.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping vote, but not about the CBI governor, about the Minister of Education. Steve Overstreet, yes. Every Patreon member on the aisle will have their own vote slip.
Vote slip. Hey, Stammy D says, question. So let the people know it can happen in August, and didn't Parliament extend for August as well? They're going to work through their holiday.
No, they're going to take vacation during their holiday. But remember, the CBI is completely independent of the GOI. So the only excuse that you could possibly have is that Halabusi didn't somehow let Alawi take office by tomorrow or between the holiday time and the reenactment time of the legislative staff. But I think Halabusi's power is absolute. Whether he lets him in the first day or lets him in a week later, it doesn't matter as long as he's approved. They don't need to vote on him. Halabusi just need to say it's okay.
Pac-Man says Sunday's going to be interesting.
Why is Sunday going to be interesting? I'm asking, so I don't know. What will happen to the Dong? Well, the United States will reach some type of formal agreement with Vietnam, and they will agree to and I think every indication is pointing about the Dong to go a little higher than 4 cents. Pepe even agrees with that, and Pepe will probably call in a few minutes and say, "No, I didn't say that." But
Pepe agree with what?
That the Dong is probably going to go more like 40 cents, 38 to about 44 cents. Say what you want, but whatever.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying he agrees with you, man.
I mean, there was never no. Listen, I am the humble Mr. Brando. First off,
you humble?
No, I'm actually not humble at all. But
right. Janelle wants to know, Mr. Brando, which currency should we be investing in then?
Right now, what should your eyes be fixated on?
Since you were saying you're the teacher and you're here for us to invest in other currencies. What are those others?
Buy Patreon. I'll tell you. I'm not. Let me tell you like this here. Why would I take a challenge? So I just gave you 3 of them right there. Why would I break them back down again?
What 3 did you give us?
Rewind the video and listen to them. I just gave them to you.
I'm just asking because I'm reading this, so I'm asking what 3 did you just give us? Dong, Dinar, and what's the 3rd? You said you gave us 3.
I did.
That's what I'm asking you, babe. I didn't hear.
Venezuela.
Oh, but you can't buy Venezuela now.
But your eyes should be all over Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
You should be watching Venezuela more close than you're watching Zimbabwe or Ireland or anybody. Zimbabwe should be your whole focal point if you are a Dong person. If you're a Dong person, Venezuela actually makes more sense if they did an invasion. And that invasion's coming, whether it be America or somebody else or Russia.
We're going to invade who?
Venezuela. We have to control all the energy in the world. Do you think it's stopped in Iraq? That's geopolitics for you. You think we're going to give up Iraq so we're going to give it like China or Russia, Venezuela? It's not going to happen.
GQ Pretty Boy says, if they lock the Dong, what would happen?
Then you'll have to figure out a way to take your old currency, get it to a central bank, exchange it for new currency, and exchange it for USD.
But what about all those trade deals?
It has nothing to do with a lop. A lop's a lop. Vietnam has lopped their currency twice.
But why would they?
Because it's a lot easier to lop your currency to then actually go through the steps like Iraq's done, to go before the IMF, to pass all these steps, to reinstate it. Lop's easy.
I don't like that.
Well, nobody does. A lop is the worst thing ever. And a lop, and that's why Zimbabwe lopped their currency and then valued it at $3. It had every dinarian out there salivating, saying, well, the Zim's going to have a play. The Zim's got no play. Zim's been lopped. You're dead. And it's under sanctions. It's a double whammy. It's like saying XXX.
Is that why you gave Mother 12 all your...
Yeah, I had no fear. And you know what? If it does reinstate and she can take her old Zim notes and trade them in, God bless her, because the time that will happen, I will have already went through 5 or 6 of my plays, and I will equal that money or tripled it or doubled it anyway. And she'll deserve it by that time. And God bless her, because I gave it to her for a reason, from my heart.
Nobody in the USA has real. That's not true, Judge.
The real is under sanctions and not under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Treasury Department. No one on this channel I know has real. Not at all.
I didn't say that, but that's not a true statement because there's people that hold it.
I don't believe so. Not on this channel.
Okay. Okay, you answered that. When will they come back to Parliament?
September. It's a month-long thing, so probably September, week of the 3rd sometime. The Bolivar that you don't want to buy is the latest issue. Don't go out and buy Bolivar. It's dumb.
You can't buy it.
You can buy it on eBay, and why would you? They're going to lop their currency. I'm telling you now, they're going to lop it. Don't go buy Bolivar. It's dumb. You can't buy enough for a lop.
D. Williams wants to know, Mr. Brando, which benchmarks are left?
Seating of the CBI governor.
In the MOE, right?
In the MOE. if that's the last real holdup. That's it. And really, you have an interim CBI and a proxy or intern MOE. So it's kind of like I'm like every day I wake up and I check CBI website. I check Forex and I'm like, dang, I really do think every day that I wake up something's gonna be different.
I don't understand this. I know no one uses real, but how do we get China's gold, but by using the real to acquire it? I don't understand that.
I get what you're saying. I mean, you want to use another foreign currency reserve to buy Chinese gold and dump it because of the tariffs or something, but China's not gonna. That has nothing to do with what we're doing here today.
Okay, Paul wants to know, does anybody ever talk about the new city in Iraq? It is done yet? Is there any more pictures?
I've seen pictures online of a new city that I thought there's a couple of them, but I haven't seen finished projects. So I'm assuming that they're not done yet, but I'm assuming they're underway.
David asks, what guarantee do we have that Iraq won't lock?
Because they would have done it a long time ago. It's easier to lock than it is a reinstatement. They've gone through all these processes, gone through all these articles on the IMF. If they didn't have to do any of this, they locked their currency.
Marlon says the CBI and the IMF made their announcement today. What does that mean?
Not that I've seen. Posted in here. Let me know what it is.
Remember, they actually can't post links anymore because of that spam person with the porno.
The dong talk. All you dirty people with your dongs.
Those porno people kept coming over to the thing. We had to turn it off.
Any rumors on a dong? Yeah, I talked about them.
When is Parliament coming back?
A month later. Ishmael is the city that should be done.
The time that their currency has increased in value, so now it's going to cost more to live in Thailand. Steve O says no gold standard.
Oh God, the gold standard's dead. There's no zombie apocalypse. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. The Real start the lock process with more info from the government on Sunday. That's what he said. He said, remember, he said, I can't wait till Sunday. And you asked the question, what's happening Sunday? He said the Real starts their lock process with more info from the government on Sunday.
Oh, that's cool. More info would be great. But the lock happened today officially, so they locked it.
Fat Boy says dinar or dong first.
Dinar. Unequivocally. Because if it was going to be the dong, they could have done it like 100 times now. They're waiting to see what the dinar comes out at, I think, and they're going to come out about a quarter of that. Not to put a big, it's going to already send a huge ripple to the financial world. If there's ever such a thing as like the whole government reset idea, when those two currencies reinstate, the amount of millionaires and billionaires that that's going to create, not based upon currency holders, but just regular businesses. I mean, it's going to change the whole financial landscape in the world 3-4-fold.
I'm going to live like I'm poor.
You live like you're poor now, honey.
Because I am poor. Whatever, Mr. Movado.
Whatever, man.
Okay, let's see. Everyone says IQD was 322 before the war. I read it. It was 280. And you can buy a Bolivar Sabonaro.
I've never seen the 280. I've seen it once or twice on a historical data sheet about the dinar, but post-war statement was 322. Dinar is a linchpin.
So when does the holiday start?
September 4th, I believe.
And when does it
August
end?
4th. A month later. It's a month-long holiday.
I want a month-long holiday. Let's see. Who's there?
When the dinar goes rise and goes up, will it ever down a couple days later? I mean, it'll be ebb and flow like anything, but if it depends on the type of flow.
I'm not even going to read this out loud, but I had already said it.
Well, I do too. But it's illegal in this country to own any sanctional currency, so I don't want you to put that on here because Why would you give yourself away because you have an IP address? That's not smart business. Treat everything like it's illegal and you'll be safe. Chinese yuan to me is not a good buy, and I'll tell you why. It only fluctuates, only like plus or minus 2 or 3%.
There was
It's not the
somebody
swing I'm looking for.
There was somebody named D. Williams in the chat room, and James asked, "Was that Billy D. Williams?" So silly. I don't think Billy D knows how to use technology. They in there talking about the real. Any rumors on the Dawn?
Nope. I already told you guys.
Okay, well, we just asking more questions.
I know. I'm just answering.
The people want to know. It's the people's station.
Yeah, Saddam did overinflate his currency, but it was what they call pre and post reinstatement. That's what they go off of. So it has nothing to do with the inflationary measures of those times or inflation of the currency at that time. Just has everything to do with the reinstatement.
We're talking about Venezuela.
You guys gonna make this a short show tonight?
Yes, Pac-Man, I got your response and I read it. I'm sorry, there's a little bit of delay because I'm going back and forth. So I'm at the 7:30 time when people are asking questions. Would you be surprised if Iraq lagged this out to 2020?
No, not at all. No, wouldn't surprise me at all.
They're stopping me from living my best life.
It just gives you as a chance as an investor to buy more. If I knew that if I saw that lag past probably the first week of August, I'd probably go back on my buy strategy and try to buy more.
Did you answer Fat Boy's question? Like, so when the RI shows up, can it go down?
Yeah, I answered that. Yeah.
Okay. We're hoping the other direction, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, based upon supply and demand, it should go way up.
What's all these calculations, Susan? Oh, okay. Oops, sorry, Daisy. I didn't know you're right there in my feed, girl. Right here. I think she's showing like the time frame of the IQD.
1932, 46.
So that was the dinar from
Yep.
1932 to 1949 was $4.86. 1950 to 71, $2.80. In 1973, it was $3.39. In 1982, it was $3.22. War with Iraq was 2003. IQD hit below a penny. Thank you for that history.
That's bomb news.
Susan's awesome. Shout out to Susan.
Susan be on that like stuff, like just like Bethany and Nancy, like they be on it.
David said, "Am I rich yet?"
In spirit, I hope.
In your soul. As soon as this hits a month, nope, 3 months. I don't know.
Reaper, they can confiscate everything that you have based upon them confiscating currencies under sanctions. Then that you're fueling terrorism in every aspect of your life. That's true. How much we pay in taxes, capital gains, short term or long term, it goes against the income that you earned. So what's the holdup on Article 140? It's no holdup. They're enacting it. They're doing it right. They're doing it as we speak.
Any news on Indonesian rupiah?
They had went through a big flurry and were trying to like gain big strides. They'd actually kind of reinstated a little bit, and I'd lost touch with what was going on with it.
Dwayne said, "I'm not poor. I'm just in between blessings." Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm blessed every weekend. I don't have to go to work. I sit here and Mr. Brando
Goes to work.
Right.
Oh, so I'm supposed to do that? Like
no, you blessed Wednesday through Friday. I'm blessed Saturday, Sunday. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's blessings.
I mean, we are blessed, period, but we super blessed on those days.
Okay. It's kind of a short news night. I mean, the Real's kind of big news as far as.
Hi, Nancy.
You want to look at the whole idea about the 4 zeros being deleted and giving the people purchasing power in Iraq doesn't have it. I think that's big news. But I mean, beyond that, there's not a lot going on. It's kind of quiet. Like today, I was hoping for way bigger news. What?
Saying Daisy, what's up?
Oh, Daisy.
Don't get Daisy going. Somebody says I'm ballparking 50% taxes just in case. I ain't mad at you. Be conservative in your thought process. It's the Ed TV, Ed Mike TV. What's up? Do you think that the RI will happen in August?
That's you and your boys thing. You guys are always calling dates. You tell me.
What boy? I ain't got no boy.
No, Ed Mike TV's boy.
Oh, okay, got you.
I'm not a soothsayer. Go on your channel for that crap.
Can it go from RI to an RV?
Yeah, if it increases in value even by a nominal amount, it's revalued. So any currency, every day that it goes up and down on Forex, revalues. That's not a hard explanation to me.
So, GQ Pretty Boy, I've already done the math. If you got 50,000, I guess you're asking if you get $50,000 US dollars worth of dong, that is $1.1 billion Vietnamese dong.
Calm before the storm? Absolutely. Or the calm before the actual blueprint to what's going to happen by a time frame that will be measurable. See, the thing that I want you guys to understand is everything has a metric to it. Even the chaos that's going on in Iraq. Hello?
Hello? Is this Mr. Brando?
Yeah, this is Mr. Brando. How's it going?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, sir. Thanks for asking. You're live.
Yeah, awesome. Gang, gang, gang.
Gang, gang!
I'd like to know the benchmarks on the dong, what we're looking for. I know the EU's involved, but what exactly are we looking for?
I mean, for dong, you're waiting basically for some type of formal announcement from the IMF that's been working with the Vietnamese Treasury, and they're waiting for them to say, well, we're going to reinstate or revalue our currency, but not lop it. And I think they're pretty much good to go. I don't think Vietnam has any of the troubles that the dinar does. And so all it really takes from them is a negotiation process. So we got the trade routes. They're in the trillions, not the billions. So now they have new avenues to make a bunch of money. All I see them now is saying, look, we're going to reinstate our currency or revalue our currency to this, and we're going to make our old notes viable with our new notes for the next 10 years, and boom, we're done. We're done.
Okay. And the next question I have for you, too, referring back to the dinar. Remember Patreon? And I looked at some of your videos. You had mentioned about a elite group here and making arrangements with the bank and a code name and so forth. Has that been put in effect yet?
If I told you, then it wouldn't be a secret, would it?
That's true. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate you.
Have a good one, brother.
David wants to know, would you repeat your comment on the real, please? He's asked that a couple of times. So
okay, so the real lopped.
Okay.
But them lopping is not the major thing that everybody's focused on. They revalue their currency, they revalued. No, they lop their currency. But what it does is it sends a clear message to the government of Iraq that because they lop their currency and they're under sanctions, it's okay for them to revalue their currency. They're going to go then at that point to the negotiation table with the United States. By then, all of our business will be done. You see what I'm saying? They'll negotiate some sweet little, handicap deal about nuclear. And this will be a thing of the past for the Dinarians. By then, we'll be on to something way bigger and better.
JTP1 wants to know, do you feel that there are a bunch of politicians in Iraq against the RI, slowing it down, or against it, period?
Yeah, for sure. But they don't have a choice. I mean, they don't have a choice at this point. It's like they're like dinosaurs. They're dying off slowly. See, the problem with these older politicians that everybody think are holding things up, their power has been diminished because they cut off Iran. Their power got diminished by the people that were the Hellsy and all these bad people out there. Then they put sanctions on the people who are actually inside of Iraq. So the money supply is getting cut off. So to be an effective terrorist, you basically have to have access to money. To be a good terrorist, you got to be an economic terrorist first. So unless they're on the black market wreaking havoc, which I know they're not, because it'd be in the news every day, or it'd probably not be in the news. I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. But the idea is that those people their nose is cut off to spite their faces. So the real power in the country doesn't rely in the money outside the country like it once did, but inside the country, which is really important. You got to understand this. But those cutting off all those billions and trillions of dollars, those people under sanction, it doesn't hurt their note count.
Maximum Play says, will the Brexit deal have any influence on the dong?
As much as the Dow does, none.
Okay. Any chance new bills will be issued and the old bills will be null and void?
Nope, because I already told they told all the people that were holding their currency they coexist for 10 years.
GQ boy, a pretty boy says, well, when do you think, wait, when does the dong happen? I think you already answered that though.
Mm-hmm.
Was Iraq under sanctions during the time people been getting their currency?
No. Iran got out from under sanctions. No, Iraq was under sanctions in 2003, I think, briefly, maybe. And then they opened up Executive Order 13303 in 2003, 2004. Then people were purchasing it freely.
Jeffrey says dong is in the first basket.
There's no baskets. That's bullshit. Baskets. It's like people in groups. The only true group is going to be an internet group.
Big Ernst says, have you been to Franklin's Barbecue in Austin, Mr. B?
Is that the one with the open fire pit? I don't think I've ever been there. I'm not big on barbecue, y'all. I know I'm a big dude, and I would look like I love potato salads. I love making that stuff. I'm a great cook, but I mean, since Miss BB's got me on this keto, I don't even like have the same taste buds. Tonight we had cabbage dumplings, and we're gonna have.
I got you on it. Why?
Yeah, you got me on it. I blame you.
He just blames me for stuff. He come up with these ideas. He talked to his clients, and oh, we should do this. Oh, we should do that. But I'm the influence. So
I'm gonna eat cauliflower stir-fried rice with vegetables, shrimp, and chicken. It's gonna be delicious.
Hi, Jackie. I'm not sure what her question was. Miss BB, what did you say about the dong? I honestly can't remember what I said. I mean, I've said so many things. I said earlier, you can $50,000 of USD will buy $1.1 billion of dong right now. I've said in the past, I'm bullish on dong. Yeah, and that's really about it. And then didn't I ask you, what did I ask you about the dong earlier?
Chance of it lopping, I think.
Well, I think somebody asked that question, but it was.
The dong lopping is 50-50.
Don't say that.
It really is. They haven't said they're not. And countries lie. Iraq lies, but I just don't think they are because of the process they went through.
Well, and then
hey, Pippin.
Trump gave Vietnam a buy card. They said that they weren't manipulating their currency. Remember that? Yeah. So now we're gonna have to go back and look at this again. I mean,
no. I'm not. Vietnam's not gonna lop as far as I'm concerned.
What benefit to Iran would it be to attack or terrorize Iraq?
It would stop off their money supply and their best trade partner. So why would they? Probably their biggest trade partner.
Pimp should call in and give his perspective. No.
I mean, there's no news. I'm about to hang up. I mean, seriously,
okay.
It's not. I don't. If Pimpe wants to come in and just chime in about his perspective,
Pimpe, bang my line.
Whatever. I mean, I have nothing. I mean, there's nothing really like. I'm like, if once y'all want to know if I'm the humble Mr. Brando today, I'm the humble Mr. Brando. If he wants to call. But
he's humble when he sleeps. Huh?
What?
What?
I can't. I don't know what you said, so I don't get what your joke is.
It's okay. How will you disseminate the bank information in terms of what deals you've made?
By order of who gives me the best percentages.
What dog is that? It's the calm before the storm.
The plan is to take a note to at least the three majors, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citi before, and then Chase, and then see who gives you the best numbers. Go off the best numbers. Whoever gives you the best deal, go there. And then tell all your friends. I plan on telling all you guys.
There go Pimpe. There's a pimp on the line.
Hey, Pimpe, what's up, man?
What's going on, peeps?
Hey.
Not much, man. What's going on, brother?
I was trying to balance between your show and the debate, but the debate has me laughing so hard I had to stop watching it.
Oh, what happened on the debate?
Oh my God, dude! Kamala Harris is getting killed, dude. Joe Biden told everybody he wasn't going to be nice to her no more. He came out the gate slapping her around, dude. She hasn't recovered since, and they've been picking on her ever since. I'm like, why would you ever challenge Joe Biden? Because he's a savvy guy, man. He is.
Yeah, he's not a dumb man at all.
My friend's like, why do you watch the Democrats? You don't like watching the Democrats. Like, I do, because it makes me feel good about assuring me about Trump's re-election.
Oh, you're a flip-flop. Hush.
I never
We
flip-flop.
didn't tell you to bang our line for all that. What's going on? What you got to say about this Dinar conversation?
Every day, what's so crazy? We talked about this before, and that is this. Before you would get some good news, like once every blue moon, then it was like once a week. Now it's like coming out every day. Every day some things are happening that's good. But what I'm afraid is going to happen is we start becoming numb to the good news. People should be losing their shit, excuse my term, but they should be excited about where everything is. It's just a matter of when. We're just waiting for it to happen. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to do is trying to get more of an idea what's going on with Vietnam. I mean, they've been making deals up a storm. Some of the biggest deals they've ever made, ever. Right. And not just that, there's all kinds of, they've made 2 corrections now on their economy for 2019 better. So I'm like, okay, so I heard you guys talk about the dung earlier. We were talking about it being 4 or 5 cents, but I'll have to say this, man. I have a feeling they can't avoid coming out at that 42 cents we talked about. And that's just
again,
this is just my opinion.
Pimper, I was kind of shocked when Mr. Brando dropped that on me. He said that you had changed your opinion that no more 4 or 5 cents, but what, 40 cents.
It only took a matter of time before he understood the Mr. Brando logic about things.
What I originally said is if it's valued correctly, it should be somewhere between 42 cents and $1.12. But because of what was going on with China, I felt like they were going to need to compete. And don't get me wrong, I thought they would try to negotiate for somewhere around 4 or 5 cents. I felt more positive about the 4 or 5 cents than I did the 42 cents. But now that I see what's going on in their economy, and every day, it's almost like what's going on with Iraq. Except for Iraq's making motions to do something, but trade agreements, every day there's huge agreements with Vietnam, and it's just mind-blowing to see. So I'm going, you know what? There's no way they're going to be able to negotiate a 4 or 5 cents rate. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
So Pimpe, okay, so check this out. Jack Daniel says, what do you think the chances are that the U.S. will put sanctions on Vietnam for currency manipulation?
Oh, they'll do it. But right now, you understand that Vietnam is crime partners with the U.S. right now against China. Okay, now, Vietnam has been caught trying to be a little bit sneaky with China, and then the U.S. quickly spanked them. And then they were like, okay, look, if we have to choose between the two in this fight, we are not going to choose China. Trump is doing everything he promised. Remember, he's walking him through the World Trade deal. Remember, he's trying to get him on the World Trade, into the World Trade Organization, and he's expediting that. So you know what? The last thing they want to do is piss Trump off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was going to send them over all kinds of trade deals. You know, you guys know that I got a friend of mine, and me and him talk geopolitics. He's involved with foreign policies all the time. He doesn't know nothing about currency, but I love talking geopolitics with him. And I told him, hey, how crazy things get. He goes, he's worked for 3 presidents now. He said, we've never, ever worked this hard for a president. He goes, if people really knew what Trump was getting accomplished and trying to get accomplished,
no politics.
Blow your mind.
But here's the thing, Pimpe, that same friend, I recall conversation because I took notes. That same friend you talked to, you came back and he swayed your opinion with the dong being 4 to 5 cents. Remember?
No, he did. He's the one that convinced me that it would probably be somewhere around 4 or 5 cents would be realistic.
Right.
He said, he's the one, and then he explained why. But you know, but again, he's not really a currency person. He's thinking more along policy is what he's thinking. And because you remember, Vietnam is China's China. You know what I mean? So, but what's happening is China is now moving over to Zimbabwe.
Right.
Because, you know, it's one thing when you have an undeveloped country, you can control them a little better with trades like Vietnam. But Vietnam now is more than rebuilt. Its economy is strong. So you don't have the same kind of sway. Zimbabwe, on the other hand, that's a country that you could a place where you could rebuild. And so China knows this. So they're willing to just bribe the officials over there, do all kinds of corrupt stuff. Now, having said that, I just noticed that Pompeo is now thinking about going over to talk to the people in Zimbabwe. They're really cutting off all the pathways for China is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? They're just punishing them. And as far as Iran's concerned, dude, it's so bad over there right now, and the news is not even talking about it. My friend's saying they've been taken to the streets. There's some protests, and the protests are getting bigger and bigger. And I keep looking for videos of that, but they're blocking a lot of stuff coming out of there. And I said, hey, in your opinion, how long until they collapse? He goes, they won't make it out of August. They'll be at the table in August for sure. I was like, dang, that's what we want. We definitely want that. Because they're a real nuclear threat.
Go ahead, Mr. Brando. What are you going to say?
It's called an emerging market.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, that's just what I was just playing around with my thing. Hey, Miss Amber, did you get that link to that?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Yeah, I got it. Now, okay, so I'm probably gonna get one, but okay, so what banks are CDARS compliant?
I posted that on Facebook.
You did? Which banks are they?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember at that point. So
what?
CDARS compliant. I posted that in Facebook a while ago. The last time we talked about it.
Okay. The ones that matter are the central banks, and all central banks they're past the deadline. They have to be Basel compliant by now.
No, CDARS that will hold a higher. Yeah.
So Anthony Black wants to know, how are you going to get the deals to the members? Like, are you going to email us? Are you going?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start collecting email information on MrBrando.com, and everybody that registers on that, I'm going to get with the person to help facilitate that.
Well, we already have a list of the Patreon, so every Patreon member is connected to the email.
Not Patreon, MrBrando.com. So I'll put out a blast on that eventually, and I'll say it on YouTube also about when everything happens.
Okay.
I see Ed and Mike TV jumping in on this. So you guys think 50 cents on that? You know, that's not too far from what I'm saying.
I'll take 50 cents.
I say be conservative. So if it's higher, hey, it's all good.
Hey, look, I would have been happy if it was forced in. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot I could do with that money real quick. But I would love it if it was up above 42 cents.
I just don't see how it could be lower than 42 cents or 38 to 42. I just can't.
No, you know what's funny is that damn article going around saying that the dinar is going to be $28.32. I was like, what? Oh my God, dude, I don't know who the hell put that out there? But I'm just saying though, that's what
all I'm gonna say is people gotta manage their expectations, and if you make unrealistic expectations, you're gonna have people around here. Oh, I got one note, I'm good because it's gonna go $28. No, and that's why I'll take the lower number, or I'll play devil's advocate and say, okay, what if the dinar comes in at $1.80? What if the dinar comes in at 80 cents? I mean, you gotta think about.
Hold on, Jeffrey, Ed, and Mike. You got to understand how trade works. The dong can't come out at $2. Yeah, it can't do it for trade reasons. Happen. You just can't do it for trade reasons.
They put it like
you're going to cost them out of the market. That's dumb thinking. I mean, I'm not trying to say you're dumb. I get what you're saying, that they want to collect those notes, those 3-0 notes, those 4-0 notes off the platform, but they're not going to come out at $2 to do so.
You're talking about for the dong?
For the dong, yeah. They just don't have the infrastructure to do it.
Well, and then they lose a lot on those agreements.
And on their trade, yeah, because you could see, listen, right now it's like $1, what, like 42 million?
So that cheap t-shirt you get at Walmart for $10.
Times it by plus 2,000%, so and then add 2,000% more. Because it's negative right now. It's negative.
So it'd be like $30 or $40 for a t-shirt.
Yeah, a Hanes t-shirt with
a plethora of companies that just now moved over there from China would pack up again and go somewhere else because that's just too much.
And then
the overhead would be killed.
Think about this.
So look at these people. Look at everybody's making a prediction. So this is my thing. I was saying conservatively, I think 4 or 5 cents. I had reason to believe that. My friend convinced me, and I still kind of feel that's right. But I'm going to say this. If the dong's going to come out at its right rate, it's going to be somewhere around 42 cents. I believe that. As far as the dinar, we said this many times. It is going to come out at the 322 mark. That's how it's going to come out. Now, having said that, I think if you had enough to hold over, realistically, I really do believe it's going to get above the $4 mark if people would just hold on to it.
So one of the biggest companies.
I don't endorse that by any means.
But hold on, let me finish my thought. One of the biggest companies in Vietnam is Samsung, right? A Samsung phone will cost you about $800 to $1,000. So imagine if all of this is true and it goes for $2. So you're gonna pay $2,000-$3,000.
Okay, but most people don't understand how margin works. So I'm gonna explain to everybody how margin works. Margin means that I buy this coin for $5. But I try to sell it for $10. Most businesses operate basically on about probably a 15 to 40% margin. Not everybody's at a 50%. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you gotta understand this. So if a Samsung phone costs $500, that means it costs Samsung probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $100. You see what I'm saying?
Because the Samsung phone is $800 to $1,000.
Okay, so let's say it's cost $1,000. Okay,
yeah.
Probably cost Samsung $600. Because of the cheap labor, right?
I doubt that much.
Okay, but let's call it $500 for whatever it matters, okay? $500, that's being generous.
Because they have a plant there. So
exactly. So if the dong was $2, that means that
their
same phone,
going up.
Well, that's going to be times 500, times 500, times 500, times 500, 2,000 times to catch it up. So that same phone is going to be worth cost $2,000. That means to sell it at retail, and no retail person that's any savvy at all is going to sell for at least 15%. So, my God, you guys are pricing Vietnam out of the marketplace. 42 cents is 40 cents is fair. 40 cents is fair.
There would 40 cents I think is realistic, and it wouldn't hurt them that much. Anything higher than that, it starts to affect their economy. They're not going to allow that. They don't give a crap who they're dealing with. Mike, real quick, I see he's asking good questions. So the first one was, do I think they'll put restrictions on exchange? Here's my opinion on this. And now, in talking to the bank, I know this, that whatever the rate is, once you make your deposit, here's where the restrictions might lie. When you deposit your money, depending on how much you have, you only have access to X amount of it at first. You have access to a little bit more after 60 days. And it might be up to 120 days until you have access to all of it, depending on how much you've deposited. Okay, so that's what that is. So, and also you guys are saying something TNT negotiated a rate at 28 for the dinar exchange.
What? Hold on a second, Pimpe. Let me help GQ out. GQ Pretty Boy out. Okay, so right now you can get $1 million dong for about $45, right? So if it goes for 42 cents, you multiply 42 cents by 1 million. that'd be what, $420,000. So that's how you do the math. Okay. Go ahead, Pimpe.
No, I was listening to you. Look, I guess the best way to look at it is just use round numbers. I got 4 million dong. It didn't cost me that much at all. I think 200. Just use a round number is about 200. So if I got 4 million and it reinstates at 40 cents, then I'm looking at $1.6 million. That's, you just use round numbers real quick to get an idea.
Yeah, and that's what I just did because he's trying to understand. Yeah, I got it. So
you guys out there actually believe that you're going to get $28.50 for the dinar.
You're smoking crack.
Right now at $10 rate. Right now, $10 rate per dinar. Hook you up with a deal. And you could go out there and pay $18.50 per dinar off my money.
yeah,
No, I'll tell you this. If you think you're going to get $28 for the dinar, you're smoking major crack and methamphetamine mixed together. Call that a speedball. Get away from me because you're drunk and insane. There's no $16 rate. There's no $10 rate. The best. I'm talking the absolute. If God smiled 5 times upon you, you caught a leprechaun and you were standing underneath the rainbow, maybe $4. But you got to understand, it ain't going to be much higher than Kuwait. It can't be. It would totally collapse an economic system. To get those notes off. Hold on, Pimpe. I'm talking. Hold on. Pimpe, I'm talking. Stop.
I was agreeing with you.
Oh, no, I know you are. But what I'm saying is, guys, because they're getting feedback, there's no way it can be $10. Now, if you want to talk logic, yeah. Now, if you want to talk fantasy and you want to say, well, man, supply and demand, you got to think how much actual currency is out there and what large institutions are holding it for a greater cost. So at that point, they would just, all those large institutions would say, we're going to trade our currency now into that $28 rate. Screw a derivative. You see what I'm saying? So why would I use that as a derivative when I can get the $28 rate? That would fuel every major business and adventure in the universe times 50. Because these people bought 25 billion plus. So you got to understand, there has to be some logic in this.
Yeah. I'm going to get that.
I know, right?
It's 8:04, you guys.
All right, y'all, man. Look.
We already told people there's a rate in which it can't pass. It cannot be higher than an Arab accounting rate. Remember that? Which is the SDR rate times 2.5%. It's that $28 is a little bit higher than the SDR rate times 2.5%. Right now, I think the SDR rate times 2.5% is somewhere around. It went up a little bit, so you're probably looking at somewhere around. Let me look at it real quick. It's 386. All right, so it's never going to be higher than that. That's an agreement amongst the Arab nations that they will not be higher than the Arab accounting dinar rate. All right, so that's never going to be that high. Not unless they all of a sudden magically just decided to change whatever formula they're using. But it's been that way for, 47 years, I think it is?
All right. No 800 numbers, no bull crap. I agree. We're done for tonight, y'all. Let's wrap it up.
Good night, everybody.
Have an awesome night, man.
See you on Friday.
If not, if there's breaking news, I'll report earlier. But if not, I'll see you guys on Friday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.